In the heart of a forgotten countryside stood a house that time itself seemed to have abandoned. The estate, once grand and filled with laughter, now lay shrouded in perpetual mist. Tall, twisted trees pressed close to its weathered walls, their branches scratching at the flaking paint during wind-blown nights. The iron gate, rusted and left ajar, creaked with every passing breeze, as though inviting any brave soul to step inside and uncover its secrets. Locals spoke of the house in hushed tones, weaving tales of its haunted halls and the sorrow that lingered within its rooms. They said that after sundown, strange lights flickered in the windows, and the echoes of footsteps could be heard pacing the upper floors. Once, the house belonged to the Harrington family, whose fortune had been made in distant lands. Their parties were legendary, drawing guests from miles around. But now, only memories remained, swirling in the thick fog that clung to the estate's grounds. As dusk fell one autumn evening, the sky painted itself in bruised purples and fiery oranges. A lone traveler approached the house. Drawn by curiosity and the stories he'd heard at the village inn, he pushed the gate open, the hinges protesting with a groan. Gravel crunched underfoot as he made his way up the overgrown path, past tangled rose bushes whose blossoms had withered long ago. The front door, heavy with age, stood slightly open, as though awaiting his arrival. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of dust and forgotten dreams. Moonlight filtered through cracked windows, casting ghostly patterns on the warped wooden floor. Portraits lined the walls, their painted eyes seeming to follow his every move. The silence was broken only by the distant ticking of a grandfather clock, its pendulum swaying to a rhythm older than any living memory. He wandered through the parlor, where faded velvet chairs sat beside a cold fireplace. A grand piano, its keys chipped and yellowed, stood in one corner, and as he passed, a single note rang out, echoing through the empty house. Startled, the traveler paused, the hair on his neck prickling as a chill swept through the room. He ascended the staircase, each step groaning beneath his weight. On the landing, a breeze stirred, carrying with it the faint scent of lavender and old perfume. At the end of the hall, a door stood ajar. The traveler hesitated, but curiosity pulled him forward. Inside, moonlight illuminated a child's nursery. Tiny shoes still lined up on the shelf, and a rocking horse frozen mid-motion. A sudden whisper drifted through the air, barely more than a sigh. The traveler turned, heart pounding. Shadows danced along the walls, and for a moment he glimpsed a figure, a woman in a flowing dress, her eyes filled with sorrow. She reached out, her voice barely audible. "Have you seen my daughter?" The room grew colder, and the traveler stepped back, stumbling into the hall. Downstairs, the piano sounded again, this time a haunting melody that seemed to draw him toward the grand foyer. He saw, in the flickering candlelight, the faint outline of a little girl, her laughter echoing faintly as she vanished up the stairs. The traveler fled, the house closing in around him, the walls whispering secrets, the portraits watching, the memories of the lost haunting every corner. As he burst through the front door and into the foggy night, he felt the weight of the house lift from his shoulders. Behind him, the lights in the windows flickered once more, and the faint sound of a lullaby drifted through the air. A reminder that the Harrington house was never truly empty. Its ghosts lingered, waiting for someone to remember their stories, to listen to their whispers, and to wander, just once, through the haunted halls of their forgotten home.